Every Monday, the Harbor Board of Commissioners gathers to discuss and decide on the key issues and business decisions facing the Port of Long Beach. The 5 board members are all appointed by the mayor, confirmed by the City Council, and serve a 6-year term. On December 21, 2009, the newest board member was sworn in, Thomas Fields, a Long Beach advertising executive and former city planning commissioner.
I actually was born and, for the most part, raised in Washington, D.C., where I sort of got a sense of what politics were all about, because basically the only industry Washington, D.C. has is politics. And then I moved to New York City, and I went to school there, and I also ended up in the world of advertising. Worked for a number of ad agencies there, and then basically decided I wanted to go west. I had been working here in the city working with the Planning Commission, because I was a planning commissioner at the time. And I thought, I've never worked in Long Beach. I've lived there for all these years. Why not try and set up my own firm? And that's essentially how it came about. And I'm very happy it happened. My only regret is I didn't do it earlier. Some of this, I hope, comes from the experience I've gained as being, a community activist, I suppose I should say that, having worked with the government, the city government here, as well as being in the corporate world. I think that gives me a perspective from all 3 of those groups. And what I like to see and like to do is feel that I'm somewhat of a conciliator. Instead of having the experience of working with each one of those stakeholders in that stakeholder group, I can hopefully help them reach all kinds of accommodations and help the port move forward.
This skill has not only helped him professionally, but it's also enabled him to fully participate in the building and bettering of his community, which is a responsibility he strongly believes all of us have to our city.
The thing that has always struck me, and it's very true of the city of Long Beach, but I think it's true all over, is just get involved. I didn't plan any of this. I didn't sit down and didn't do a graph and say, step A is I'm going to do this with the economic development that's going to take me to my next level. And none of that happened that way. I just said, what, I want to get involved. I want to get involved in my neighborhood. How could I make it better? Through that, every step along the way, I just thought, what can I do? And not that I am a goody two-shoes or anything like that. It's just that I didn't want to be the problem. I wanted to be part of the solution. And I would tell anybody that. If you have a gripe, what can you do to help relieve that issue? And I think for the kids, that's really what you do. Just get involved. If you get involved, you will be rewarded in some fashion. And even if it's nothing more than your personal reward for yourself, self-esteem.
As Commissioner Fields begins his 6-year term, we wanted to know what he felt were the key issues facing the Port of Long Beach.
The challenge comes in a couple of different directions, one of which we are in the middle of an economic downturn. The harbor has been hit. I think we were down about 20-some percent, 22, 24% from 2 years ago. I'm sure that's going to come back, but at this point in time, we have the challenge of trying to build back up to where we were before and sustain the growth. That's challenge number 1. Challenge number 2, I think, is the environment. The Port of Long Beach is a leader and being a green port. We led off with that. And now the thing is, with the clean trucks and all the other environmental issues we're putting forth, is sustaining that and keeping it going, particularly in the face of economic downturn, because it's harder to do that when you're in a downcline. So that's also a challenge that we face. And I think the third challenge now is basically just trying to make sure the community understands that the port is there for them as well. It's our port, and our meaning the entire city. Yes, it's in trust for the state, and yes, it is a regional, and for that matter, it's a national asset. But it is also in the city of Long Beach, and that we have to look at it as being our port. So that's what I see as what excites me, and that's my challenge.
Since the Port of Long Beach began almost 100 years ago, there have been numerous community members engaged in setting policy, making sure the voice of Long Beach is heard at every meeting. Thomas Fields, as the newest commissioner, continues this vital contribution.